Hey guys, good evening. Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to tonight's show. Hi, everyone. If you can hear me, please confirm at the comment section. I always salute. I say hello to every single one that is in the comment section already. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm so glad that you could make it. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Yeah. Simply Miss P, you said yes. Okay. Great. Thank you so much. You're welcome to another edition of our live stream. The Lord is doing something very incredible in our midst. Unto Him be all the glory, honor. I take no glory. I take no. I don't take anything from this. It's just all the glory goes to God. I'm not the one doing it. It's just God. So before we crack on, I'll just quickly remind you. Please subscribe if you've not already done so. Remember to hit on that notification bell so you get notification whenever we do a live show or I drop a video, which I still do sometimes. And yeah, make sure that you have that turned on. Have your notification bell, very important. Please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much, everyone. I see you all in the comment section, and I appreciate and acknowledge you for joining me tonight. So tonight, it's gonna be two parts. I've got a young lady here. Anita is her name. She's gonna be talking to us about her situation. I trust you guys to be kind as you usually are. I know my regular subscribers, you know how we do it here. It's a solution center. We're looking to support her. Please don't be judgmental, be understanding. Okay, we're not here to judge her. We're not here to judge her situation. We're not here to talk down on her or, the choices she's made. Okay, she's very young and, she's nervous, but I've told her that you all are amazing people who know what it means, to come forward, to share your problem because, storytelling, as we are finding out daily on this show now, is a very powerful tool, very powerful. Even in counseling, which this is not, storytelling is used by therapists as a way of you taking back your power. So there is so much power in you being able to tell your story, being able to articulate it and tell your story is so powerful. So thank you very much, guys, for being kind and respectful. Please do not ask any annoying questions. Do not put any negative comments. Anita is here. She's going to tell her story herself. Later on, we got Dr. Adiola is going to join us. She's a psychiatrist, clinical psychiatrist and physician in the UK here. She's a friend of the show, and I'm so privileged to have her tonight joining us. And she will come in later, but we first want Anita to tell us the story herself, why we are here. And when she came to me and told me some bit of the story, I told her I know my limitation. I always say it on this channel. I'm not going to go and do what I'm not qualified to do. As God will have it, God is so kind. I tell you, there's the hand of God, whether you believe it or not, on Obodooyinbo TV. I just thought in my mind, who am I going to bring in to be able to address this lady's issue? And my mind went to Dr. Adiola. And I called her. She said she was at work. I sent her a message immediately. She didn't even, I'm not paying her. Her time is very valuable. Everybody's busy in this country. But she agreed to come. Wow. If this is not God, I don't know. It's got to be God. Anyway, yeah, you meet her later on. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I introduce to you Anita. Hello, Anita.
Hello.
You okay?
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Right. Talk to us.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Basically, uh, when I got to uni, I met someone at uni, and um, I met someone, and we later did like a secret marriage, like court. So he told me like, um, if if we marry, we can if we marry, we can it's good. We do a secret court, and then he promised that after everything, we're gonna do a serious one and go to my parents and everything.
Can you speak
Well,
a bit louder, Anita, so they can hear you? There's a bit
oh,
of noise in
can
your
you hear me
background.
now?
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
is your window or door open? There's some sound
Yeah,
in the
let me
background.
shut the window. Let me
Yeah,
shut the
so
window.
okay, okay. So that that you didn't hear is that she was in university here in the UK and she met a guy who said that he likes her and he wants to marry her. And he told her not to tell her parents. They should go and marry
Yeah,
first. And that
and
later, when they marry, then later, when they want to do the big one, then they can tell her parents. So the guy basically took her to, how old were you again when that happened?
19.
You were 19, yeah. So when she was 19, she met this guy. And he basically took her to registry courts to do marriage here in the UK. She didn't tell anybody, not her parents, not her siblings, nobody. So the guy married her quietly. Okay.
Yeah,
And but later on, how long did you date before this marriage?
it wasn't for long. It wasn't for a long time. Um, we were just well, it was just for a bit, and then it was moving so fast. Um, he used to stay at his place and started staying with me, and it was moving just so fast. And then the next minute, he got on his knees and said, "Please, let's do this. I love you. I
Okay, I
love
think that
you." Can
is
you hear
that
me?
fan on? Is that fan on in
No,
your end?
no fan on, nothing. Maybe it's my laptop. I don't know.
There's
No
still that
fan on.
sound. Can you guys hear her? Can you hear her?
Yes, I think you can hear me.
Are you using the
Can you hear me?
headphones?
No, I'm not using headphones.
Can you use the headphones? Maybe the sound will be better.
Okay.
Yeah, let's allow you use the headphones so you can hear you very well. Because Adiola is listening, so she needs to hear your story, so she will know how to advise you.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, we
Is
can
it
hear.
better?
Carry on. Yeah, you have your headphones on
Okay.
now.
So
Yeah, if you
basically,
just yeah, if you just speak a little bit
mm,
louder.
can you hear me?
Yes, if you speak like that.
Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yes.
Is it better?
Yes.
Is it better?
Yes. Carry on.
Hello?
Yeah, carry on,
Okay,
Anita.
so I can't hear you well though,
You
but
can't
I'll
hear
just
me?
talk.
Yeah, talk. Talk.
Okay, let me just yeah, I can hear you now. Okay. So what happened is that what happened, I later found that he later, well, let's cut it short, that he used me. He got his After getting everything he want, he broke up with me.
So he used that,
So
he married her because he wanted to get his papers, his British residency, or what they call it, indefinite leave. Okay. How old was this person at that time when you got married to him?
um it was 25, 25.
Okay. So 25-year-old met a 19-year-old and say, "Oh, I love you. Let's get married." Okay. Don't tell anybody. So she herself followed him and they got married in court, in registry. And then he used the papers, the marriage certificate, to file for papers and got his papers. And then when he got his papers, how did he break up with you again?
Through text, let's just be friends
Yeah,
on
he
the
texted
phone.
her and said, "Can we just be friends?
We
Don't
spoke on the
worry.
phone, yeah, yeah, yeah.
When you are getting married, I will, don't worry, you do a proper wedding, I can support you, but let's just be friends." Okay. So he ended the marriage by text message and they spoke on the phone. Okay,
Yeah,
carry on. Yeah, he's a Nigerian.
yeah,
He's a Nigerian.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's in Nigeria.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah, and then that's it. So that chapter, and I graduated, and then I graduated, and then someone, another one, another mistake that I made again. I'm laughing because, yeah, I don't know, is that someone, just someone, I got a message from someone, and they said that they want to be on Facebook, be in a relationship with me, and um and we started talking. I told him everything, my situation, what has happened to me, and our family all knew about it. So we started talking. I said, okay, let me get to know you. Next minute, I went to Nigeria. I went to meet him. I said, I have to know you first, get to know you first. And then next minute, we got married. It went
okay,
fast. We did that introduction and then we got married.
okay. I will tell this one because maybe because of the noise. Let me just summarize it. So after that one ended, the first one that took her to registry and just married her because she's basically a child. She was 19. She was on her own. She graduated from university and um, she met somebody that she's previously known. She said they are family friends. Contacted her on Facebook and said, "Oh, I like you." The person is in Nigeria, okay? And they started talking. And because of what happened to her in the previous one, she said, "Oh, let's get to know each other first, okay?" And the guy said, "Okay, don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. This, da, 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 da." When a guy wants a woman, there's nothing he will not tell you, right? So they got talking. Eventually, she said, "Okay, she wants to spend some time with him." So she went to Nigeria, used her money, and bought her ticket. And went to Nigeria by herself, okay? Uh, but when she got to Nigeria, she thought she was just going to spend time with the guy, let them get to know each other. But by the time she got there, they were arranging marriage. They were arranging marriage. You can correct me, Anita, if I get it wrong anywhere.
Yeah,
Okay, sweetie?
it was introduction. So
Yeah,
I just let it flow. I thought maybe that this is who God wants me to be with. So I just let it flow. Yeah.
yeah. So they started doing introduction, and was it only introduction you did? Did you not do the traditional
No, we
marriage?
did introduction. Then I went back. Then we were preparing for our wedding, and then I came
Okay,
back for the marriage.
for the
Yeah,
wedding. Okay. So you went
it
first
wasn't
time
that.
introduction and you just carried on. She just followed, I mean, she just agreed. Basically, she said she thought maybe this is who God wants her to be with. Okay. She was still very young, mind you. And she came back to the UK, went back to Nigeria, and you did your traditional, and then you say he filed the papers in court.
Yeah, we did a traditional, and then we did a church wedding, but it was through the court, like the court thing. Yeah, so the court knew about it, and then when we done that, yeah, that's it. And then yeah,
You came back to the UK, and then you discovered that you were
I came back
pregnant.
to the UK. I came
Yeah.
back to the UK, and then I went back, and then for a bit, and then I came back, and then I was pregnant.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was pregnant.
So, uh, what happened when you discovered you were pregnant? It was still in Nigeria. You are
Um,
here.
yeah, yeah, it was in Nigeria.
Okay.
Uh, I I just went on with it, and the thing about him was always asking me for money, very manipulative, always money, 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 money,
Yeah.
money, and then oh, so I realized he just wanted to use me and disappear and reappear. I just realizing that he just want to use me for papers. It wasn't love. I had to be smart with my brain, even though my heart was telling me I was quite confused. I had to be smart and just uh, know that it's
Okay.
not real.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Let me talk. Let me say some of the what she told me because we discussed before now. So when they got married and she came back, she now with over time she got to know that the plan from the beginning was to use her to come to the UK. Okay?
Yeah.
All he wanted was to use her to come to the UK. Let me say this. Anita, and that's why we're bringing Dr. Diola here tonight. Okay? From when we spoke the first time, I knew that there was some issues here, that underlying issues, that is not just she that needs to be dealt with. Okay. She appeared to me like somebody that is a people pleaser who will just do things to please everybody except herself. I noticed that. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I am matured enough to know some basic human behavior. I know that there was some issues about always wanting to please people, and not being standing up for herself, and I was thinking, I said, oh, and I was asking her some questions about self-love, if she loves herself. And I was basically, what I saw from her story was the fact that there was issues about esteem, self-esteem, self-love. And then I started asking her some questions about her background. Okay. I started asking her some questions about her background, because I mean, it's not something that is common for a young girl of 19, and this is not me judging, but we have to talk about the issues to find the solution. For a young girl of 13 to get married without telling her parents or telling anybody, there's a reason. So I was trying to trace it to why. And I started asking her about her relationship with her mom. Okay. And I asked her, are you close to your mom? And she said, somehow. I said, okay. So they are not close, not very close, I deduce. And from further interaction, I could tell that her mother, Anita's mother, is this church people again. Yesterday, we were talking about all these church people. It's all these people that everything is prayer. They don't think there's anything responsible, there's anything that will be responsible for anything than just pray. Just pray. Just pray. Okay? Yeah, seeking love. You are right, Kumbis. Yeah. So there's a need there that I say, and Dr. Diola is going to be talking about all this later. It's not me that's going to be the talking for. She's an expert. She was searching for love. Okay? And this is what we're talking about, raising children and empowering them to be to be strong, and for them to be loved, to know that they are loved, that you don't need somebody outside to love you to know that you are loved. Okay. Unfortunately, in some cases, like Anita's case now, what I can tell from her background is that she wasn't raised with confidence. Okay. She wasn't raised to know that, okay, you don't need a man to tell you I love you for you to know that you are loved. And this is what happens when we raise children without, always showing them love. Some parents are so detached from their children that, they just believe that once you read the Bible and pray, they are okay, the children should be okay. All right. Now, let's continue with the story. What happened when you now found out that, okay, this guy wants to come to the UK, and you already pregnant, or by then you have a baby for him? You said to me that you found out that whenever he calls you, you don't hear him asking of the baby or even asking about your welfare. It was always about, oh, when are you filing the paper? That even the mom was asking, when are you coming to take him? When are you coming to take him?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
About money as well. So about money, everything is about money, and
they were asking you for money.
In personally, money, support, and always all to do with money. I didn't really care about my well-being. I always asked me, when are you gonna bring? When are you gonna bring? Nothing else.
Right.
Even though we filed for it first and they refused it, but
okay, you filed first and it was refused.
I just had a feeling like through everything and the way I was treated, I just felt like this is not love. I had to and then I went to Pastor Sheila for counseling, to do some counseling for us. And he wasn't interested. My separated my husband was not interested in it. He was like still talking about money, so he didn't go anywhere because he wasn't really interested in it, to be honest.
Yeah. So she wanted to see if it could work. So she went for counseling. but he didn't. The man did not engage with any counseling. Okay, he refused to attend. He refused to speak to the counselor about any kind of counseling. What? Why did? What reason did he give for not engaging with the counselor again?
He said to me, if it's not to do about money, we can't talk. So it's everything money. So that's why I
So when you
realized
say
what he was saying.
everything's about money, money, meaning is this you sending money to them to
Sending
him?
money to him, yeah, or yeah, all the time. That's what it was. He makes comments like, "Oh, his friends have wives in the UK and they're always in abroad. They're always sending money. Why can't you send money all the time? Even though I help with what I can, but he constantly. I feel that's just the focus, nothing else. Disregard my feelings, don't manipulate me, emotionally abuse. That's it, all that. It's just disregards of me, really. I just realized that this guy doesn't really care about me. It's just seemed to me he just want to use me. So, because I've been in the situation before, I had to just. It was very hard. I had to use my brain, like, just to come to decision and say I don't want anymore. I just had to ignore. But he chose not to leave me alone, still saying that he loves me, but which I don't believe that because no actions of love, they're all disregarding my feelings, don't even care about me. So
And you
yeah,
said
I
that he
just
mentioned
some
something
days I
about
just
one time he said that you that was married before.
yeah, making fun of, he knew I was married before, making fun of me that I've been married before. Yeah, he made comments
And
like
what
that. Yeah.
did you tell your parents when all this was going on? Because I believe that this time around they
Um,
participated in this marriage. Your parents knew about it.
they yeah they keep on calling my parents. They love me. They say that they say that the devil is using me. I don't know that we should pray that God to not break this marriage. That I need
Who
to
was
pray
saying
for
that?
deliverance. The family, and they're telling my parents that the devil is using me. So my parents actually, they said that I need to pray. They're trying to pray to cancel it. The devil wants to break the marriage.
The devil wants to break the marriage.
Yeah.
And by this time you already have your baby and you couldn't, you know, you have to care for your baby, so you cannot work the way you were working to even have money to send to
Yeah,
them or whatever.
I couldn't work as I was working, even though still then, I was advised by Pastor Shola to stop the amount of money that I sent because just to see. And since when I stopped when I stop, I calm down just to wash. They start acting funny. They start acting funny, trying to do all sorts of things to, you know, start acting funny, and I get a lot of backlash from family, his sister, his mom. I get backlash that I'm meant to be supporting him. I'm even him that I'm meant to his husband in. He's going through a lot. His friends in the UK abroad has people and they're always sending money. Why can't I send money all the time? So it's all to me. It just seemed like it's just focused on that and not caring about my feelings, nothing about not using initiative or anything. So I just, I don't know. Yeah, that's it, really.
And you said something about how even with everything that is going on, with all the abuse from his family, his sister, his mother, and everybody in Nigeria saying how you've not come to take him, and basically just shading you for not taking your husband to come and live in the UK. Your mom
Yeah,
still believed that this is the marriage for you, and she was still, encouraging you and
yeah. Even till
posting.
now, still praying to, yeah, posting, still praying that God sort this marriage out. And I was like, I don't, yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I just don't understand.
Okay, it's okay. It's fine. It's okay. Is there anything else you want to add? Let me bring.
Um,
Uh,
that's
is
it
there
really.
anything?
Just emotional.
Did you? I want to ask you. Go on.
Yeah, just that's it really. Just all that emotional abuse that I'm receiving, and Yeah, uh, yeah, that's the reason.
Did you at any point, like look at yourself and say to yourself, because of the experience of both the past and the present marriage, that there's something that you are doing that is it's not it's making you attract this kind of
Yes.
men?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did some
There was a
soul
point I
searching.
sat down. I, th-
Hmm.
yeah, there was a point I sat down and analyzed myself. I was like, what's going on? Like, why God? Why is all this happening to me? Why God help me? There was a time I just felt really down. I was trying to analyze it. I was trying to see what's going on. Yeah, and I did realize that it's just I rushed into it, and self love, as you said, wasn't. I didn't really have self love. Yeah, I did definitely do that.
Okay, all right, okay, basically that's the story. That's the story. Two marriages, 30, and it seems like this one now has ended. The first thing I told her when she told me how those people were abusing her, uh,
Too much, though. I can't say anything.
yeah, I told her to, I told her, the first thing I told her was to change her number, block them, or change your number. That's what I told her, because when she said that the sister were calling her and start abusing her because she's not bringing her husband from Nigeria, without caring, about how she's doing. Because what they don't even understand is that the fact that she's not working now, you cannot bring a man from Nigeria. You cannot bring a man abroad. But people in Nigeria don't even understand that. You cannot bring anybody, whether man or woman or child. You need to demonstrate that you are able to care for somebody that you are bringing from abroad, okay? So as for the last time I checked, when my Sierra Leone friend brought her husband, she had to be earning 36,000. I think she was earning. That's the minimum that you have to earn to bring somebody. So if you don't earn that money, you can't bring anybody. You can't sponsor anybody. But in Nigeria or in Africa, people don't understand. So when she told me about how it was becoming abusive, they were calling her, sending her messages, I said block them all. Oh, but he's the father of my child. I said block them all. That's what I said. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Miss P said it's 18,600. Okay, they brought it down. It used to be around 36,000, right? Okay, somebody that is not working because she obviously has a baby, and how is she going to earn 18,000? And in this country, there's no way you can go and, tell them that you are earning this because you got your P60 to show what you've earned for the year. Okay, even if you are self employed or you got your own business, you have to do your accounting, you have to do your what they call it, tax returns, and you have to declare how much you earn. And if you go and inflate what you are getting, you will pay taxes on it. So nobody will tell you. I've never heard of any business person that inflates their earning. They will even reduce it to reduce the amount of taxes they pay. So yeah, that's what I said. I said, please just change your phone number, block them. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. You guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm waiting uh for the Adiola to come. Um, I didn't know that the story was going to be so short.
That's if
Obviously, and
I'm still married to him. Yes, I'm still married to him. Yeah.
you're still narrating. Okay, go ahead, Anita.
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm still married to him, but I want to break up. Yeah, I want to leave because I don't feel
Speak
he
louder.
loves
We
me.
cannot hear you.
Yeah, I want to leave because I don't feel like he cares. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much, Ray Arosa. Thank you so much. You're happy to pay for our therapy. Oh, God bless you. That's why I love everyone in this platform so much. You guys are so
Thank
helpful.
you.
Anita, can you hear that? Somebody's already volunteering to pay for your.
Yeah. Thank
These are
you
my
very
details on
much.
the
God bless
screen.
you.
Yeah, my
God
details are on the
bless you,
screen. Please take
everyone.
my number, my WhatsApp number, and so that I know how to contact you. Somebody told me they were going to offer some free section of therapy to who was the person that they wanted to offer it to? I think it was Blessing or so. Was it Blessing? I can't remember. The person put the comments in my community page today. I don't hear from the person again, no. So please say what you mean. I mean what you say. I beg you. I thank God, beg you now. I know you guys have been really, really amazing. You've done very, very well in terms of supporting people who've come here. So you say you want to divorce him now.
Yes, I want to do it, but he's saying he will not leave me alone. He
He
loves
said he will
me
not leave
now.
you alone.
Yeah.
Why did he say he will not leave you alone? Did he say
I
why?
don't know. He said he loves me.
What?
That he's trying to
He
love me
loves
more and
you.
more. Yeah.
He's loving you more and more because of your red passports. I like that. Okay. I think we've got our guests in the building. He's trying to love you more and more. He said he will not leave you alone. I like that. Okay. Hello. My beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous Dr. Ade. Hello, sweetheart. See how happy I am to see you. I'm blushing. Okay. Hello. My beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous.
Hello.
Hi, your YouTube, is it on? I can hear myself. Can you mute it if your YouTube is on?
Yes, I can hear myself too.
Yeah. So you need to remove the volume of if you're using a phone, turn down the volume completely. And if YouTube is on, mute it. Just mute everything. Yeah. Okay. I can still hear myself.
Of my laptop mic. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
But I can't hear you. Can you hear me
You
now?
can't hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Good, good, good. You're welcome. Thank you so much for agreeing to come.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. So can I talk? I can't hear you. Can you hear me now?
Go ahead. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Good, good, good. You're welcome. Thank you so much for agreeing to come. Can you hear me
now? Okay, I have to wait because I'm hearing myself talk back. But I will just keep talking. Anita, I would like to start by saying that you are a very nice lady. Just from listening to you, okay, I have to wait because you have not done anything wrong. You are just a very nice, kind person.
We have to do something about this echo, Adi. It's echoing for some reason. I don't know why. So even when you are talking, it's echoing as well. I don't know why. Are you using a laptop?
Laptop.
You're using a laptop?
Yes, I am using a laptop.
Do you mind using headphones?
1 minute. Let me switch off my YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, if your YouTube is on,
it better
you need
now?
to switch it up. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to switch off your YouTube. Yes, thank you.
Yes. So Anita, you are a very nice lady. You I don't want to start by saying, oh, yeah, this is what you did wrong, this is what you should have done right, because a lot of us have walked through this journey of yours. We're just lucky that maybe we had someone to nudge us, or we read a book, or we were able to identify a red flag, or we didn't take a step, a permanent step on time.
So you didn't introduce yourself. Sorry.
I'm going to introduce myself. I just want her, because I heard that she's crying.
Yeah, she was crying.
She's crying at the moment.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just want to give you that virtual hug. you are a very, very lovable person. My name is Adesola. She called me Adiola.
Adiola,
Adesola.
I keep calling Adi. For some reason, I spelled your name with Adiola. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh
Okay, so I'm
God.
It's okay. You're not
Let,
call me
let
Adiola.
me change it.
So I'm
Yeah.
Adesola.
Adesola. Yeah. Go ahead.
United Kingdom. Currently, as a result of life, I had to leave, and now I'm into GP. Then I'll become a GP next year. Uh,
Ah.
yes, I had to leave,
You
but
like psychiatry?
no, I'll become a GP with a special interest in psychiatry.
Right, because I know you were
Yes,
doing psychiatry, you're a
as a
psychiatric physician when
yes,
I saw you last.
yes, I was,
Oh,
but I
oh,
had to
bless
leave
you.
because of family issues.
Okay, that's
Yes,
fine.
yes, but I am very happy to be here, and I am happy to meet you. And as much as I can, I would give you as much tools that you can work with to identify the source of this issue. The main purpose of this conversation is to identify the foundational issues, not necessarily the symptoms that we are seeing. So there are three things I would like to touch on today. Before I even go ahead, I just want to tell you that um, there is something called daddy issues. It's a very common layman term we use outside. However, medically, we now trace even medical issues down to how one was parented, where you were raised, who raised you, which family did you grow up within? Were you in a polygamous home? Were you fostered? Did you have absentee parents? How is the relationship with your parents? So it's not about you. This is something we do to everybody now, including people who don't even have symptoms, people who are just maybe depressed, people who are just having mood swings. We try to identify that before full-blown issues come up. So I would like to talk about how you were loved as a child. How do you interpret love? How were you raised? These are all rhetorical questions. However, we will talk later after I definitely will have a call with you. But I just want to talk to everyone here about reasons why things like this happen. Now, there are three things. Everyone talks about self-confidence, self-confidence. Now, there are three aspects that you have to watch out for in raising children, especially a girl child. Self-confidence, self-efficacy, and self-esteem. Let me go again. Self-confidence, self-efficacy, and self-esteem. Now, they are different. Self-confidence is that belief that I can do a particular thing. So I can be confident at dancing. So I will go into any party and dance. But I'm very, very unconfident at riding a bicycle. So self-confidence comes with a particular thing. So if you see a child who is confident in talking, in addressing the crowd, the child may be very, very vulnerable with love, with identifying red flag signs, with self-love, with self-esteem. So self-confidence is just I can do something. Self-efficacy is the ability that I will do this. So you might be confident in it, but you might just feel, no, I'm not going to do it. Self-efficacy is I will do something. The ability to do things, to push yourself and complete something. So you see a lot of people dropping out from school, taking courses over and over, not completing projects. They are suffering from that issue of self-efficacy. Now, let's come down to self-esteem, which is the bedrock of parenting. The bedrock of parenting. Self-esteem is the ability, is I am enough. Whether I'm rich, I'm abroad, I am enough, just as I am. That is the bedrock, the hallmark of parenting. So you see a lot of professionals a lot of educated people, rich people, suffering from low self-esteem, because even though they can, even though they are going to do things, they still don't feel enough. And they have this dire need for someone else to do what? Complete them. So regardless of the work you do, education-wise, wearing designer clothes on your children, these are just external coverage. Makeup, designer cars, living in nice postcode, traveling abroad, these are just exposure, packaging. With or without that, you should ensure that your child has the ability to do, will do, and in spite of those two, still feels enough in him or herself. So I don't know if I can just give you like 5 tips to identify good signs of good self-esteem. Signs of good self-esteem. So basically, self-esteem is the ability to trust yourself, to be able to trust your instinct, to be able to identify your own authentic self and walk by it and stick with it. It's the ability to trust your judgment. There's one thing we all have as human beings, that ability of intuition, our instinct. We know when things are going wrong, but we just don't. We just try to, please people. Maybe I should, just try things out, and then it comes back on us. The ability to trust your judgment, to trust your ability, to trust your own totality, and stick with your rules. That's one sign of good self-esteem. Secondly, the ability to identify. You see, there are several stressors in life, several issues that we go through as human beings. A lot of us will just pass through things accidentally, like losing parents early, like being displaced due to war, due to different life occurrences. So some of these things might not genetically be your parents' fault. And a lot of parents did what they could do with what they knew at that time. So we can't really blame them. A lot of them struggle to even keep us alive. So, doing all these things were not books then. There was no therapies. Therapies is just becoming adopted right now, even amongst the African community. A lot of people see therapy as God forbid. However, God forbid is not a parenting strategy. So, even people that are fine, I always recommend at least a visit to a therapist once in 6 months. It's called mental checkup.
And you said to me that even you that is a doctor, you see therapy. You said that to me.
Yes.
Okay. If doctor is in therapy. Okay.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
I do. And before I come to what I learned from my therapist, because I will share that with you today, I would still like to talk about 3 things. So the first I said was the ability to identify your authentic nature, because a lot of us don't know ourselves. We just know the idea of what people expect from us. We are conforming to the image of what our parents want from us. A lot of us are extensions of our parents. A lot of us are the prize our parents owed. Oh, my daughter is a lawyer. Oh, I raised a graduate. Who said you enjoy being a... So all these are a lot of us are victims of this, institution, of this, how would I call it, parentification. I'm trying to use the right word, but I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say. All right, let me move on to the third signs of good self-esteem. Do you have the ability to accept your mistakes as learning curves? Forgive yourself. Take ownership of your mistakes. Like, okay, yes, I've done this. What can I do to make things better? Or do you just tear yourself down with negative talks by saying, I'm not good enough, I can never be, I'm just a write-off. I don't want to use all this word because we're on YouTube. Some people when you tell them to talk about themselves, the kind of way they describe themselves, you will just shake your head and like, what's all this? Where is this coming from? And it starts from childhood. When a child never sees his accomplishment as good, you do something nice and everyone is clapping and you burst into tears and like, what have I just done? And people put it as humility. And like, no. People are clapping for you at work. You are doing something good. There's something called imposter syndrome, where even at your best, you still feel you're not good enough. So I always, these are signs of low self-esteem. But if you are able to own your mistakes, dust it off, learn from it, and move on without casting yourself down, that is a very good sign of a healthy self-esteem. Number 4, if you are able to set healthy boundaries, healthy boundaries. See, the fact that you are available to people doesn't mean that you are able to meet all their needs. The fact that you are the fortunate person, I'm just saying this generally. Now, I'm not talking to Anita, I'm just talking generally. The fact that you are the fortunate person in a family, maybe you are the first to become financially independent, or you know, basically that's how we view the head in most families, does not mean you should carry on raising everybody. You should be able to set healthy boundaries, because that is the sign of kindness, self-love to yourself. Now, boundaries are subjective. What I can term as boundary might not be the same as Sister B. So you have to identify how much you have. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you have to identify how much you have and how much you are willing to do at a particular time, and being unapologetic about it.
Unapologetic.
Yes.
I like that word.
Yes, about it. What are you ready to do for people? Because you are all your primary responsibility is yourself. So it's a sign of good self-esteem if you can say no, if you can say wait, if you can say I will do that later, without feeling bad, without feeling, I'm not saying you should be inhuman or empathetic. There are times you have to step out of your comfort zone for people, but don't let that be your brand, because people would use you. And you will feel bitter and you feel resentful, and at the end of the day you would have hurt yourself. It's like you're misusing yourself. Now, the last one I would like to talk about, which is very important, which is one thing I learned from my own therapist, is writing your user's manual. Your user's manual. Sister, you want to say something?
Yes, when you mentioned this user's manual to me, when we were talking yesterday, I was like, Adiola, I was like, I have never heard it before. Honestly, it made total sense to me when you talked about it. Please tell us more about it.
Okay, so a user's manual is one thing you find in any product you buy. If you buy the tiniest thing from Amazon, any gadget that you need to operate, it comes with a guide. And you can buy 10 different pressure cooker and it will have 10 different users manual. I can insert my husband's machine in the socket I plug in my iron, because the watt is different. So that is the same mentality we have to adopt as human beings. We are all different products. We are all products raised in different environments, from different families, from different nationalities. We need to have our user's manual. User's manual is a guide written out. Mine is about 8 pages. Written out is like your description in fine print. It identifies your capabilities. It identifies your strength, your weaknesses. It identifies where you can function best, where you can be used, the area that would destroy you. For example, I always tell my husband, I cannot be the wife of a king. I can't function in a very tight, conform, a place where I have to conform, I have to wear white, I have to sit like, because I'm a very dynamic person. I've told, there's so many things he has also said in his user's manual. So there's some areas that you can never find me. What in that user's manual contains, what can you do to harm this product? For example, if you put your iron or your pelka outside and rain falls on it, it's going to get spoiled. So if you put me, if you tell me to live with, I don't want to expose so much about my manual. If you tell me to do some things, you will destroy me, which might be totally different from Sister B. So I've listed out those areas. There's a particular job I cannot do. I will never, no matter how dare, because it doesn't align with my genetic nature, with who I am. It also has, what can you do to correct me, to rectify me? If my MacBook is spoiled, I won't take it to the open market to correct. I'll take it to the main shop because I know that is where they'll fix it best. If you hurt this product called Adesola, how can you reform her in the safest way? What can you do? Don't buy me gifts. Don't take me to the pastor for deliverance. Don't think I will forget about it. This is what my manual says. This is how Adesola recovers from hurts. It also has, I'm trying to go through it in my head. It's an 8-page document, and we update it every 6 months because we evolve, because we learn, we outgrow things. So 2 years ago, I would tell my husband, when I'm stressed, can you play jazz music for me? Now I'm older, can you play high life? So yes, so rather than him buying me Chinese or buying me suya, it just goes for the latest this thing, and I know that, okay, he's trying to please me. I know he's a peace person. If you want to get at him, just create an atmosphere of peace. You will get the best out of him. So that is my manual. And right now we are open books to each other. We don't try to guess what each other can do. We don't try to mentally task ourselves. And it affects every single thing we do, all the choices we make. So I tell you,
if I can ask, Ade, did he read yours and you read his, this user's manual?
We exchanged it.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
We exchange it, and we always update and exchange per time.
Right.
So it makes me identify the reason why I got angry, or the reason why some things went wrong, or I didn't agree with some things I wanted to do. I was like, I'm trying to misuse this guy. Then I apologize and we move on.
Right.
So we have it for our children also. So all the handlers of our kids have got a copy of the manual. So they know the child to shout on, they know the child to reprimand, they know how to correct each child because they are different. And this manual was written with the child. We didn't write it for the child. We asked them, how would you want to be punished? If you do this, what are the consequences? How do you want this behavior to be reinforced? And we've written it down. So this allows for consistency across board, and it helps us identify primarily how best to use ourselves. So I know how to use myself. I know, because there are times I forget about myself and I get sucked up, and I just come back and like, this is not who you are. You are going against, you are misusing your product, you are misusing yourself. So I always encourage everybody to have this manual for yourself, and then you will realize how much you can do, how much talent you have, and then you look at it and like, yes, I am a good product. I just misused myself, or I gave myself to the wrong person who didn't appreciate this product to mishandle. Someone says, if the purpose of something is not understood,
Abuse. Abuse is inevitable. Somebody is saying that this is lecture without payment. See the dollar sign. You guys, look, you know how much you pay somebody that is a qualified doctor in this country for 1 hour. She's here dashing you, and you cannot use the dollar sign. Our people. You cannot use the dollar sign. You are getting knowledge free of charge. If you go to a psychiatrist or you go to a therapist, you know how much per hour? Ask Anita. Anita paid £200. She paid Dr. Shola for therapy that the man did not even attend. So use that dollar sign. I beg. Thank you, my dear. Carry on.
Yeah, so I've talked about the 5 aspects. If you can go through what I've just said and true to yourself, mark yourself, score yourself. If you want the user's manual, we can talk about that later. It's something that one has to do with an expert, because at times you might not even know who you are. You might just feel, oh, if anyone asks you, who are you? So the first answer most people give is what you do. They will say, I'm a mother, I'm a doctor, I'm a wife.
Yeah. So you need somebody to help you unpick who you are, even in case you didn't know who you are. That's what you are saying.
Oh, yes. Wow. It is not what you do. It is not what you want to do. So in most description, I'm a wife, doctor, author, what else? Dancer. It's what you do. But who we are is deeper than that. So that is how to identify or how to build a healthy self-esteem. Get to know your authentic self with the help of a therapist. Create boundaries. Write your user's manual and stick to it. Learn to say, I can't remember. I was just talking out of my head. I mentioned 5 things, so I'm sure it's all there. Now, I would go into the family. What actually leads to this? From what I've heard from Anita, I've listened to her for 30 minutes. This might not be the entirety of the issue. This is what she has shared with us. Yeah. But I know there's some deeper issues that she might be too emotional to talk about.
Yeah.
And she might not even be able to say now. Maybe if I come over time.
Yeah.
Deeper issues.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm going to address you as a physician, I want to ask you this rhetorical question. How were you loved? Primarily as a child. What's your relationship with your... No, don't answer me.
It's a rhetoric question, so no need to answer, my dear.
How were you loved as a child? What's your definition, your perception of love? Gifts, acts of touch, affirmation, and all. I'm sure you would have your own love language, which will be part of your user's manual. Is also part of it. However, as a child, how were you loved? Did you ever feel the warmth of your mom? Were you able to talk to your father? Do you have any memorable moment as a child? Who was your model for how a man should love a woman? What was your position in your family? Are you the first, middle, or last child? Were you made to serve others on time? Were you made to put your needs behind to help other people? And were you an extension of your parent? When I say that, I mean there's something called parentification. When a parent allows you or makes you parent them maybe as early as 10, 11, you it's like they skipped that childhood and just skipped you straight to being an adult. Did you have to go through all that as a child? Because from what I hear from you, now I'm not trying to, I know this is not all, so I'm only talking based on what I've heard. From what I've heard, I agree that you are people pleasing. You have this void that you want someone to feel. And this is not about academic or being rich or being abroad. It's deep inside in you. There is something that you feel, there's a vacuum you want to fill with the love of a man. And you have that idea in your head, how you want the man to fill the gap, regardless of whether the man is ready or not, whether the man understands who you are or what you've been through. You've seen the man, you like the man, you have the idea that he's the perfect person, and you give your best to the man with the idea that he would also reciprocate or understand what you have in your mind.
Yeah.
And that's why most of the time they take advantage of your niceness.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So so one thing I want to say, I want to just touch on. I'm trying to use this story to address other related forms of it. So I want to talk about how our childhood affects our love life, and I will address 5 types, 5 ways, or 5 symptoms it comes out, it blooms out in or out. I don't know how to put it. First, let me start with Anita's. I don't know if this is true. I'm only talking based on my experience, based on working with patients, based on what I've read. I might not nail it. So just pardon me as I talk. From you, I feel you have who were emotionally absent in your life. So they might have provided housing, education, gifts, but that emotional connection wasn't there. A lot of people that grow up with parents who were busy, two absentees, people that lived with several nannies or that didn't bond properly, grow up with that void. And then they try to fill it hastily on time with other people. And most of the time they attract narcissistic lovers. Narcissistic lovers, people who want to use you, people who are emotionally unavailable, people who are there for their own need. And people who grow up in such household, I'm talking about households where the parents were not emotionally available, have this need to meet other people's needs. They call it codependency. When you have this insatiable need to always fix people, to always help people, you have so much empathy. You get sucked into people's problems. Oh, it's so nice. If I can just make him fine, if I can just pay up his debt, he will be okay. If I can just package him up, if I can just send him to school, he will be happy. He would appreciate it. If I can just help him with his addiction problem, he will be a better man. It all comes from a heart of gold, from good intentions. You see the person, you love the person, you're ready to give your all to make the person the idea of the perfect man in your mind. However, most of the time, this doesn't work out well. 9 out of 10 cases, these people take your gold and they go away. And unfortunately, they don't even look back. The children they leave behind, the debt you've incurred in raising them, they don't care. And they scar you. And another thing about children raised from homes where parents were absent, maybe parents that were very, business tycoons, leaving you with aunts, uncles, they were not there, This kind of people, apart from codependency that I just explained, they don't know how to identify healthy love. Even if they find it, they do everything to sabotage it because they are not used to it. They are not used to it. They are used to being needed. They are used to taking care of all their siblings. They are used to, at times they are ill. Their parents won't know they are ill. They will be the one to take Panadol, to go to the chemist themselves. That emotional aspect of their lives has not been nurtured. So if anyone comes trying to genuinely love them, they find it very difficult identifying it. They go for those people that come with problems, with baggages, because that is how they've been raised. So that is one of the points of the 5 parental, how the family, how you were raised, how it affects your love life. The second one, if people were raised in homes that was toxic, maybe homes where there was no love, home where there was no affection. Now, I'm trying to use examples with all cautions. I wouldn't say polygamous homes is bad, but what I've heard so far is that it's a place where you practically have to.
It's all Bawere. That's what it is.
Okay, you compete for attention, you compete for love. It's like I belong to everybody. People from homes where there was where you can't be sure of love, you're not sure of tomorrow, you're not sure if you're the one that they're going to send to school, if your school fees will be paid. A lot of them grow up to become very controlling. Very controlling. You see, they try to use that to suppress the vulnerability they've suffered as a child. So they look for someone vulnerable. They look for those peaceful, sweet partners. Now, this happens even in men. It happens in both men and women. And they try to control them. So it's a very common pattern that we see in people that were raised in homes that had no love, no affection. Second, the third point is, sorry, I'm trying to go through this. Yes. People that grew up in homes that was chaotic. Now, when I say chaos, I mean, experiencing your parents hit each other, seeing, growing up in areas where there was a lot of violence, people that have experienced war, people that have experienced displacement as a child, people that have changed homes severally, people that have lived in several places, foster homes, orphanages. A lot of them grow up to be very timid and they attract domineering. You see, it's all controlling, domineering. It all looks the same. Now, the thing is, their love, the way, the pathological warped love they have in their head is how they can be suppressed, how they can be dominated. They've watched their mom tolerate abusive, toxic fathers. They've watched their fathers also tolerate abusive mothers. And they, in their mind, that is what they see as love. So they look for they attract, not like they look for, that's what they attract. That's who they're naturally drawn to, people that would dominate them. That would tell them, regardless of who you are, what you've read, how you are, this is what I want you to do. This is how I want you to dress. And they would say, it is love. Oh, it's protective of me. Now, look at the sink. They grew up in a place where there was chaos. They grew up in a place where the first thing a child does or feels when they see chaos is that they feel responsible for the chaos. They feel guilty that, oh, if I was not born, if I wasn't here, maybe these people will be fine together. They take up the blame. That is how a child reacts to chaos, especially when two parents
Yes,
fight.
somebody, yeah. If I can just butt in, sorry. The lady that came yesterday, that came to share with us yesterday, said exactly the same thing. When her parents, her dad was, constantly beating her mom because she was sickly. That's Ada. She shared with us yesterday. So she felt like because she was always sick, that's why she's responsible. And if she's not there, maybe the dad will not beat the mom anymore. So she attempted to drink a lot of Fensick in Nigeria at the age of whether 6 or 7, just to remove herself from the way. So that's a very good example.
Yeah. In that I've grown that were raised in such environment, one thing we always tell them is that they need to learn self-love from the scratch, and they need to learn how to set boundaries, because there is no way you can, it's a confused situation. You can see people fighting and they will say they love you, because you'll be scared that, oh, am I going to be the next victim tomorrow? They sleep with one eye to open because there's that tension. They've grown up in a culture of tension. They've not really experienced peace. So this is not set in stone. It's just a pattern that we've observed over time. Some people can grow up from such and turn out, I wouldn't say turn out okay. Somehow they just have this resilience. Resilience, like I say, is the ability to struggle well. Is the ability to go through fire and be fine with it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you are in the optimal state. It just means that you have been able to manage through it properly without so much scars. So we've got several ways. One's childhood affects one's love life. But I would like to address Anita by saying that I think codependency is the main problem here. You want to love, you want to give, that's where your validation comes from. That's where your validation comes from. You are afraid to walk away because you are scared of rejection. You are scared of abandonment.
Yes. There was a point. It was very hard for me to say no. Very hard for me to say no. Very hard.
Yeah.
Difficult.
Very hard to say no. Yes. So all this is a sign of that foundational gap. The self-esteem aspect wasn't optimal. You sound very confident. You speak good English. You are exposed. You are educated. So other areas are good, but this aspect needs a lot of working upon. Now, another thing I see is your identity as a woman. Your identity as a woman. So we have different facets. So we have identity as mom, identity as child, identity as a woman. We need to know what makes us a woman, and every woman should know that. Now I'm here for the women, because I'm here to talk to Anita. That's why I'm referring to women. But if any man is here, also take that in as I'm talking to you too. You need to know what makes you tick. Now I always say this to people, that it is not every woman that is maternal. It's not every woman that should marry. It's not every woman that should have children. Some people naturally, they're just genetically not wired at that point in time. Now, things can change with time, but at that point in time, they're dealing with issues. And the choice a woman makes does not only affect her, but affects her children. I always tell people too that for every marriage you see, there was a woman who said yes. There was a woman who said yes. Now, with all due respect to people who had forced marriages, who had to go through arranged marriages, who had no choice to, abide by the cultural pattern. But majority of the marriages or the relationship we see begins with that word yes from a woman. So you need to know what makes you tick, what makes you complete. And another thing I would also want to say regarding Anita's story. Now I'm moving from one point to another. Let me just ask this rhetorical question so that I don't jump the point. Apart from having the difficulty to say no or to set boundaries, you've answered and you've told me that you don't want to feel rejected. You have this fear of abandonment. Another thing is, do you constantly find yourself apologizing for even some? Okay. Now, do you always find it difficult to ask for help?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, as a lady, now this is a general address. A lot of people feel that for them to be in a relationship, they are the ones to nurture the man. If you are in a marital, contractual relationship, a stable, healthy marriage, whatever works for your union, I don't have a say on. However, in a relationship, as a lady with a good self-esteem, a lady should know how to ask for help. It's the hallmark of being feminine, and it massages the man's ego. A lady should know. I'm not saying you should now offer yourself as a liability to the man, but you should know when to step back and let the man serve you. You shouldn't feel unworthy of a man's effort, a man's time, a man's money, a man's love. No. So some people take one part and leave the other part. They say, oh, at least he's the father of my children. If he did not impregnate me, I wouldn't have these kids. No, that's not all. You should, as a lady, not as a mother. So the money is given for the children, is for the kids. As a lady, you should feel deserving.
Yeah.
So it's not something you should be thanking and apologizing and being overly. It's your right in a healthy relationship. And it is kindness to yourself.
And that's why she's still talking, even though they have been very, very abusive towards her because she couldn't bring him here. Unfortunately, she doesn't see the need to even cut off that line of communication. Because she said to me, Auntie B, he's the father of my child. They are my in-laws, but they are cursing her every day, sending her messages. She's feeling back all the way from Nigeria in the UK. But she cannot severe or even temporarily suspend that, line of communication.
From what she said, it's all about the fear of saying no and the fear of rejection and abandonment. And it all stems down to the root. How was she raised? If you have this confidence that I have got a home to go to, I've got a father I can call that will cover me, no one out there will scare you with their approval. And one thing I want to say again is abuse can come from anybody, including family members, including extended family. And abuse might not necessarily be verbal or physical. It could be emotional, psychological. So if someone knows that something is not good for you and is still telling you to remain there, I see that as an abuse. Is abuse. So it's now left for you because they might not know. Everybody does what they do. Everybody, we all do what we do based on what we know at that particular time. But the consequence of what we have done might linger for life. So what I always tell people is take responsibility. Don't wait until they know better. Now that you know better, create that boundary. Sever that relationship. Change your number. And don't apologize for it. I know it might be scary because deep down in you, you might not have that place to run to emotionally. So you might have a present physical father, who is emotionally absent. You can't go back home and cry on his in his arms. If you go back home, they will look at you like a failure. Oh, you've done this. You've disgraced the family.
Yeah.
There are alternatives. There are. So I don't want to sound like I'm talking to you like, oh, you've done anything bad. That's the reason why I'm interjecting, trying to soothe you, that a lot of us have gone through this journey, maybe in different forms. But at this point, now you know better. Another question I want to ask you is, do you find it hard to compliment or acknowledge yourself as good?
Yeah.
Adesola, yesterday we were talking. I looked at her picture on her DP because she was talking to me on WhatsApp, and I said, "Do you love yourself?" She was like, "Yes." She hesitated, and I said, "Okay. Do you think you are beautiful?" And she said, "Yes, yes." But there was hesitation, and then I looked at her picture. She's absolutely gorgeous. This girl, her color is like your own, Ade. She's beautiful. For her to even hesitate before saying yes, I was like, oh my God, if only she can see herself, how beautiful she is.
Anita, you are enough. You are, whether you can do anything, now let's go back to the first three things I said. You are enough. I've not seen you before, but I just want you to repeat that every morning when you wake up. Look at yourself and tell yourself, I am enough. It's all this. A lot of adults, a lot of women, successful women, people who are, you won't even, when you listen to a lot of celebrities and you want to dig deep into why they go into drugs, into abusive, toxic, it all stems from this. They don't see themselves as who they are. They feel there's something missing. But now you know. I've said I'm going to give you a call after this show because there's some things I want to.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes. Another thing I want to ask again, for the benefit of everyone, is, do you constantly feel being taken advantage of by other people?
Yes. Yes. Everyone, like, I feel that, to be honest. I feel that way.
Yeah. Okay. So I just ran through some signs of suboptimal self-esteem. And Anita, I'm sure a lot of people watching the show are also giving the same answers you are giving. So don't feel like you are the only one here. Don't feel like you're the only one here. So now, just to wrap up, I want to just list 7 signs of suboptimal self-esteem. And if you're a parent here, please note it down. And in subtle ways, ask your children, especially the teenagers, just ask them in subtle ways. That one, do they feel like they are burdens to you? We all see children as blessings, but does your child see he or herself as a burden? Because the way a child perceives love is not the way we grown up, perceive it. Regardless of what you have done for your child, just ask them, do you see yourself as my greatest gift? Have I been able to demonstrate that to you with my time, with my smiles, with my attention, with my words? Or do you see yourself as a burden to me? Secondly, ask yourself or your child, do you find yourself constantly apologizing for being? You see, some people, before they start a statement, they'll say, oh, I'm very sorry. Oh, pardon me. Oh, I might sound very silly here, but just take it as it is. They've already destroyed themselves.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Every minute, I'm sorry.
Only thing is, I'm sorry. No. No, it's not a good thing, and it's not humility. Another thing, well, this might be very hard for parents. Ask, does your child describe you as bossy, domineering, hard?
African parents, not domineering. Ada is breaking all the tables, though.
Yeah. Does your child so it's a moment of reflection. Try not to get angry. Write these words down: domineering, difficult, bossy, resentful, challenging, and tell your kids that which of these describes me. If they pick that, then there is a problem. No parent who has this label by a child should take it for granted. Another thing you should ask yourself is, what are the things you wish you had that you don't feel you can? Are those things you wish you had that you don't feel you can ever ask for? Some people wish they had space. They don't want to live in in-laws. They don't want to live with their in-laws. Some people don't want to have joint accounts. They want to have some financial independence. Some people want to go back to school, but they're scared that if they ask their spouse, they'll be labeled as a bad mother. Oh, you want to leave these 4 children to go back to school? Some people want to go on a holiday. They just want to leave the home and go on a holiday alone as a woman. And they feel that, oh, if anyone hears that, they will feel they went to meet someone or they are being irresponsible. I'm just giving ideas over my head. What are those things you wish you had, but you feel scared to ask for? Even in a relationship, I want you to take care of me. I want you to take me out every Friday. You're scared because you don't want him to lash out on you. I want to have just 2 children. But you know that your husband wants a boy and you have to have it. You see, all these are signs of low self-esteem. Because once you identify those things, when it comes, you've already thought about it, so you have the right way to deal with it. It won't come to you suddenly. Another thing is, do you recognize that your needs are as valid as that of everyone else, including needs are valid? Now, we might identify our needs. Everyone can tell you, oh, I need this, I need that. But do you make out time to meet those needs? So the thing is, when you can't give what you don't have, and there's something called the emotional tank. When it gets depleted, it's a very terrible state to be in. And that is when people feel like committing suicide. Because you feel like life is not worth living. You feel empty. You lose interest in everything because you've given your totality to everyone. Everyone has had a piece of you. And you haven't taken time to replenish yourself. And remember, you are the primary custodian of your product. If you don't take care of yourself, no one will, or they wouldn't even know how to. Another thing I want to say, I want to add to this is how, let me leave this. I don't want to, let me just leave it. Let's leave it at this.
Okay, do you want to talk to her about that privately?
Yes, I would. Because there's some questions that might just, tear one apart and, make, let's leave that apart. If you can honestly answer these questions and address these issues, you see, most of them are rhetorical. They are not a yes or no questions.
Yeah.
There are things you need to think about. In fact, some questions, some answers might not come now. They might come later.
Okay.
But for you need to get your user's manual. It prevents things like this. You need to identify what is right for you. Now, there are several people out there, narcissists, people who are bossy, controlling, domineering partners, toxic partners, people who have got underlying mental issues that are walking around the street looking all packaged. We can't know them. And even if we are, if we get to know them, we would have spent a part of our lives with them. So they are not our responsibility. It's futile for me to come and tell you, or to come here to tell you how to identify. I can tell you how to identify a user. I can give you five maybe I should even do that. Someone who is wasting your time.
Yes, please.
From my experience. Now this is not medical. Everything I've said now is not medical, because if I want to medicalize it, I'll just give you a happy pill, but that won't solve the problem. How to identify a user? The first thing is, most of them have not gotten over their ex. They talk about their ex most times. They still miss them. They still plan to clap back. They still want to hurt them or harm them. They have not. They definitely have. It's like that vacuum, that space that you ought to feel. There's someone there. So one, that's a user. That person is just marking time. Secondly, the person doesn't prioritize your needs. So the person, I'm just giving you an example. The person knows that you work or you're working at night. You need to sleep. The person comes in the morning and starts saying you have to cook. That doesn't prioritize your need. Your need to spend on yourself, for self-love, for a rejuvenating holiday. Anything that matters to you matters to the other person. And then the third one is the words doesn't match their actions. They are saying they love you, they're saying they care about you, but deep down, you know you don't feel it. You know you don't feel it. The only time they come is when it pays them. They give you barest minimum approach. Barest minimum approach means anything they do for you doesn't cost them much. Rather than buying you a gift, they give you a gift card. Rather than turning up on your special day, that's when they would say they've booked a shift, or they will say they're busy, or they're ill. Another thing they do that I call barest minimum. Well, some people, well, I've summed it up by saying that whatever they do does not cost them anything, either materially, emotionally, time-wise. And then another sign of a user is someone who is self-seeking. Now, they might not only seek for themselves, they might seek for their friends, and they try to portray this image that will not suit you. That will not suit you. So there are other signs, like maybe not, some people would even put you on social media, introduce you to their family, and they're still using you. So that is not a sign of love. That has passed. But deep down, if someone tells you I love you, tells you I'm for you, and you don't feel it, and another great sign I want ladies to watch out for is when you don't feel safe in the presence of the person. You don't see his space or a space as a point of safety. You're still second guessing. You can't be vulnerable. You're still choosing your words. That person is not for you. It's not for you. So there are other signs to identify, because people are come in different forms, but these are common to a lot of them when they just come for a booty call, when they call you at night only because they want to have sex, or because they want to, or maybe they just wanted to have children and they want to. Now, you mentioned something in your story which I saw as a big red flag, and that is a very fast commitment plan. You said the first one happened very fast, and it happened in secrecy. Very fast. People that are very fast to make you commit to them, and anything done in secret, you have to watch out for it. You have to watch out for it. So there are two things: they either make you marry them fast or have a child for them fast. So such things should be, it should undergo a process of knowing the person, a process of, and I wouldn't give the blame. I'm not here to cast blame. I would also say that it also came from a state of vulnerability, and I don't want to use the word desperation from you, for you, but I'm just trying to be as straightforward as possible.
Yeah, maybe like
vulnerability,
ignorance, and innocence. Yeah,
and innocence that was abused.
Yeah,
in a healthy relationship, all these are beautiful things. You should be totally vulnerable to your husband. I'm a jellyfish to my husband. We operate an open account. I come and melt. I'm not. It's nice to be vulnerable. It's nice to be innocent. It's nice to, just be yourself. But when it comes, it's a process. It's a process. When someone demands this from you, that is a user. So people talk about men saying, men as, oh, they know who they want to marry within the first 2 or 3 months of meeting. Leave that to them. As a woman, is this what you want? Does he know you? Has he written his user's manual? Have you exchanged it? Do you like what you see? And all the conditions is given to you. You might want to have children, but maybe not now. So you see, all these are building blocks. Ability to say no, ability to be boundaried, ability, the ability to have that, to disperse that fear of rejection or abandonment. By the time you have all these building blocks in place, it will be very difficult for someone to just come and ask you, to do things without your consent. I don't know if I've been able to.
Yes, thank you as well.
Anita, how do you feel?
Yeah, I feel good because she actually read me. She read me, read through me, and you said a lot of things as well that's been helpful. Yes, this has been good for me. Yeah,
And she's
thank
graciously accepted to speak to you outside the show as well.
you.
So thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank you.
That's a massive. I didn't want to put down you. I was going to recommend that she sees a therapist, but I didn't want to. Because sometimes, I didn't want to burden you by saying if you can see her after. Thank you so much for doing that. This is
Thank
massive.
you very
It's really,
much.
really,
Thank you very much.
really, is mighty generous of you. Yeah. I'm not gonna, because I said 1 hour and you've done 1 hour now. So I'm sharing my link for very few people to just. A lot of people are asking if you've got private sections or you got a private business where you offer some therapy sections or things like that. I don't know. Do you do that?
I do the user's manual.
Okay,
I
the
help
user's manual.
people. Yes. For the therapy, I would rather refer to my therapist
Okay.
for now,
All right.
because I don't have as much time, because I'm still working full time now, and
And
it takes,
training. And
yes,
you're still training to be a GP. Yeah.
it's
So
quite.
I shared my link. I think I've shared it. Have I shared it? Yeah, I've shared it. If you want to come quickly, only very few people I'm taking, because this was about Anita. Anita, it's okay for you to disconnect if you are just listen from the background. If you want to say anything to Dr. Ade, just say it so you can disconnect. I know you got a
Okay.
baby, and just listen, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to say thank you very much. This has been very helpful. Thank you. Yeah, I'll speak to you
You're
later.
welcome. All right, sweetheart. All
Yeah.
right. All
Bye.
right. Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, hopefully that was helpful for her. I think it is, because I'm learning. And you've really, really blessed us. Everybody in the comment section, they're like, this is a therapy session. I want to meet your therapist. I want to. I want to meet your therapist. I need therapy myself. I do. Does she do the of course she will do it now, because we don't see physically now, so she can do it online by Zoom or something, right?
Yes.
What do
Yes.
you have to say? Let me ask you this before we round up the show. What do you say about a lot of our people like going to pastors for counseling? Whatever the issue is, it's always church that we first go to for counseling. What do you say to that?
Okay. Are victims. I would say we've been spiritually abused. Now, church is good. Church itself is a good way to, I would say, connect to God, network with people of like minds, of like faith, of like values. It's a place to distress. The music is therapeutic. The preaching you hear is uplifting. We all need it. It's not everyone that can afford a therapist. Pastors are the first therapy or therapists, sorry, that people know. So you go to your pastor for marital issues, for counseling, for child, people that are looking for children, people that are in debt, and parents take their kids to the pastor for deliverance. So pastors they've been different roles, whether capable or not. Now, there's a difference between someone who is and someone who is able. There is a difference, and I think it's it's a common thing I see in most religious settings, where someone will say, "I can do everything for you." You cannot be everything to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the times, they misuse or they mismanage situations. So there are some that naturally they might be able to help out with. And spiritual, I would say, is an addendum to a lot of things. But the role of a doctor should not be undermined. The role of a therapist should not be undermined. The role of counseling should not be undermined. A pastor cannot solve all your problems. They will be there. They are conditioned to pick up your call. You see them every Sunday. However, it's left for them to say, this is where my professional boundary ends as a pastor. Now,
and most of them will not. Most of them will not. Some of them will, but some of them will not. Some will probably point to you and say you need, even for mental health issues as serious as somebody suffering from mental health illness. They believe that they should go to pastors for deliverance and not go to get treatment. And some pastors will not even advise them go to the hospital or go and see a GP and talk to someone who is a mental health expert.
Remember that from the foundation, from a lot of people are not used to the word therapy. They don't even know where therapists lie. They don't know who to go to. And some symptoms of mental health issues are not so, it's not what you see in Nigerian home movies. Some of them are like someone who is manic might be termed as a frivolous person. Oh, she's promiscuous. Someone is just mania, sleeping around with everybody. spending all your money, dressing, there's a way they look, extravagant, flamboyant, very loose. It's mania. Overworking, overspending, not sleeping. It's mania. So if you see someone overworking, overspending, not sleeping, the first thing you say is, "Oh, this is a very good person. I'd like to be like you. You're doing so, and role model." And then you see that this person has got a pattern. This person is thinking that I've got the powers to change the world. I've got so
Mary said most pastors can do with some therapy sessions too.
Yeah, but the thing is, a lot of parents have given this power to the available people who are the pastors, but they are not able.
Yeah.
So that's for the pastors. Now for the parents, I want you to understand that it's your responsibility to equip yourself with the knowledge of what to do at a particular time, or else you abuse the product in your hands. So there's a rule for you. I always tell parents that the child is a product. Do you know how to handle this child? Because there's some problems that needs to be solved by you, the parent changing. You're the one causing the problem. I'm not trying to label, because that is the parent that would take the child to the pastor, and I always feel it's a lazy form of parenting. You feel that everything can be solved by prayers.
Yes.
No.
Kola, you don't want me to round up the show, please. Oh, I begged Dr. Adesola for 1 hour. So if you want to keep her here, you have to pay. Antonia, I've got you. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Auntie B. Can you hear me?
Hello, Antonia.
Can you hear me?
Are you here? Oh, I don't think she can hear me. Okay, I've got someone else. Adewale, you're here.
Yeah, hello, Auntie B. Good evening, Dr. Adesola.
Hello, Adewale.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, Antonia.
So, I have a few questions for Dr. Adesola, because Anita's childhood is sort of similar to mine. My household was somewhat chaotic, so that made me a lot closer to my mom.
I think my internet is having problem because I cannot hear. Can you hear her? Can you hear Antonia?
I can hear.
Hello,
okay.
Can you hear me?
Carry on.
Should I continue or?
Yes, I can't hear a word. I can't hear what she's saying.
Okay, so I.
Okay, you guys carry on. I've got a problem with this internet here, definitely. Okay.
So that chaotic background made me a lot closer to my mom, but I was a bit distant from my father.
Antonia is gone. Oof.
My father was very, very strict, so I didn't really discuss
anything. Carry on.
The only thing I talked about was just education. That's like all I thought he cared about. And then I think when I turned 24, he sort of changed and he became a lot closer. But it became very weird to me because I was not used to that. So even sometimes now, I don't really know how to talk to my dad about certain issues I have in my life. And then whenever I go to my mom, she doesn't really give me the right answers because she's a woman. I'm a man. There's certain things she doesn't really know, like what to do. So and I don't want to be that kind of father to my own kids in the future, but I also understand why my dad had to be strict when it came to education, because it was something he didn't get from his father. So he wanted that for us. So he was very, very strict, and he was too strict to a fault. And I don't want to be that way. So how do you balance having or like making your children understand your place as a parent, and also having that close friendship with them? Like, how do you balance that? No one has really answered that question for me. I'm still confused about that. So if you can, answer that question out like that. Thank you.
Sabi, should I talk?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
I didn't hear a word, so please go ahead. Okay. I can hear you, but I didn't hear Adewale. Yeah.
So Adewale, I would commend you for being very proactive with addressing this issue by even recognizing that there's a problem and you don't want to replicate it in your children. And it's always nice when you are prepared before they come. And it's also help you to choose the right partner. I don't know if you're married.
I'm not married.
He's not. He's very young.
I'm just 26. I'm not married, but I'm just I'm just asking.
Yes. To choose the right partner. You're just asking. Yes.
Yeah.
One thing. So if I were you,
Hello?
go back to your mom, you said, or she's just present but not emotionally connected. Is she?
No. I'm emotionally connected to my mom. We're very close, but they just like, how do I say? There's certain questions I have I need answered, but the thing is,
you
she's a woman.
you need answers to. Okay.
Yeah, and she's a woman, and she doesn't like the answer she gives to me doesn't necessarily apply to me as a man.
It doesn't suit you.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't relate to those answers. I don't know, but I need my dad for that. But I'm not close to my dad. We're sort of distant.
Network. Yeah. I think there's a problem.
Even sometimes I have some questions I want to ask him, but I don't know how to approach the question. And if I do, I'm afraid of his response. So I just fear of my dad is still there. I don't.
Still there.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I answer your question, I want to add this. Most people who were raised by strict parents, by strict fathers, strict mothers, it's that strictness has the ability. It helps to, of course, no child is resilient. Every child is malleable. So it's very possible to mold a child into what you want. You want to achieve. You want this child to be a doctor. You want this child to be whatever. You can get that by being strict, by being very boundary, by being very disciplined with a child. However, you can break a child's emotion, spirit in that process. And there's something called okay, let me break it down. There's some people that are trapped in a particular infantile stage. So you will see someone who is 55, maybe a CEO, acting in a particular way like a baby. Not all the time. Maybe you're going out. I would answer Wale's question, but I just want to say this as a prelude. They still have that emotional need. The way they felt is like when they were 5 or 6, something halted, and they have not moved from that stage. So you see some men, acting so mushy. No, it's okay to be. Everyone should have that emotional expression, but you just find that there's something about this person or having little. Maybe they listen to a particular music and they start to cry, or they see a particular scene in a movie and they become very, very anxious and apprehensive. It's called emotional stunting. It's like as repressed particular area of their development, so that they've grown biologically. Well, they've grown financially. They are self-efficacious. They're able to hold down a job, but they are stunted. Some people are stunted from age 10. Some people's emotional growth is as stunted as that of an age 5 child. So that is the consequence of being strict. Now, where this plays out is when you now want to have a family. Because you still have, if you want to have children, you are bringing out the child in you to connect with the child you want to have. Anyone that sees a baby would naturally change you won't see a baby and say, hello. Bring out, there's something, there is a particular way you conform or you comport yourself when you and when you want to talk with a 10-year-old, and when you want to talk with a teenager, I wouldn't see a teenager and say, "Hello, baby." That would not go well. So when people that have been raised from a strict family now wants to have children, now wants to start a family, you are trying to bring out, connect back. Think about your memories as a child. Oh, what did I ride a bicycle? Did my father sing with me? Did we have bedtime stories? What am I going to give to my children? And then you now go back to that stunt. You are still the person will still be there, either 5, 10, 15, wherever the strictness started having that effect on you. That is where you have to return to. So there is something, this is something a therapist can deal with. It's called the jibe and the shadow effect. That they take you back to that stage, and they would make you relieve that time. You would say a lot of things, and then they will walk you through to where you are. Now, for any gap mechanisms, there are things you can do. The only one I can share here, because I also want to protect their intellectual property, is look for a male role model. Look for a family that you admire, that you have observed over time, whose values sync with yours, and have a purposive, remember, purposive relationship with the family or with the father in that family. Don't just observe from afar. Meet them, let them know what you have seen, what you want from them, what you are willing to do for them and with them, so that they can guide you through the journey and start on time. Because some people, a lot of people are victims of strict parenting. Strict parenting was the in thing then. So your father did not intentionally do this to you. A lot of people are scared of their fathers. A lot of people can't even have a conversation with their fathers. And it's
Yeah, somebody on the screen said, Florence said, growing up, I was scared of my dad. I couldn't talk to my dad.
yeah.
And she has learned to love on her own. I've got Antonia back. Thanks a lot, Adewale. Because of time, I'm afraid that's all Dr. Ade can take. Antonia, can
Good
you hear
evening.
us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Auntie B, can you hear me? I'm not sure she can hear me. Hello?
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, so I think she can't hear me, so I'm just going to shoot with my question and my comment. I just wanted to say, Ade, thank you so much for this enlightening session today. It's like you were speaking right through me, even though it was
Can
somebody
you hear her?
else's
Is she
experience.
talking?
I can hear her.
Okay. When she finishes, then you just pick it up, but we can't hear her. I can't hear her.
They all can't hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you really loud and clear.
I need to see if others can hear me though. They can. Okay, that's perfect. So I wanted to say that this session was really enlightening. It was like you were speaking right through me. I'm one of the products of, growing up with a single mom. My mom had me when she was very young. So originally from Nigeria. So that was a whole taboo back in the day. So I've seen my mom going through so many stuff that I shouldn't have seen as a young girl. And then it's ironic when you promise yourself that never will I allow a man do this to me, only for history to repeat itself with you a few years later. So then this develops into self-hate, insecurity, where you have people telling you you are ugly, and at the end of the day you are actually a very beautiful person inside out. So I really liked how you addressed the situation of how to identify a user, because my dad is late, and one thing I've always wanted to provide to my kids is a stable family. Although my mom did the best she could do, and I applaud her to today, but if someone is going to start forcing you on having kids, that was kind of like a red flag to me, because having children, it's a mutual decision. It's not one to be forced on. So at the end of the day, I really want to thank you for addressing all these issues, because these are things that our parents don't talk about with us. And these are things that you can't really, it's quite heavy to discuss with friends, because people don't look beyond the surface of how are you? Because if I start telling you how I really am, you might not be able to handle it. So I keep it to myself. And at the end of the day, I wanted to ask, even as much as you think you're strong enough to basically cope with, identifying users, sometimes you can overestimate yourself. What guidelines would you recommend for someone like me to keep staying on the right track without, at the end of the day, sabotaging a future good man or future friends who might be, my friends for life, and just still sticking to myself and saying, listen, yeah, you are not going to fall for this again? Because it's very easy to wake up and say, do you know what? I'm not going to talk to anybody about this. I'm going to be like this. But then you miss out on the right people and the good people.
If I understand, you want to know how to be able to identify the good person, the good people, without falling for users, people that will hurt your feelings again.
Yeah, and without trying to sabotage it and saying, oh no, you know what? This person is just like the other person. Bye.
Okay. First, if you've been through a major life incident, there's a process of healing, and during that process, you would have to, reappraise the situation. What did I do to contribute to this issue? What happened and what went wrong, basically, and then you would learn some other coping mechanisms. How to address it in a different way, in a different setting, and all that. Now, when it comes to getting good, it's subjective. A good man to you might be neutral to me. What you need might not be what I need. So it's very different. That everything still boils down to the user's manual. What do you want? Now, knowing what you know now, what kind of man do you want? What kind of father do you want? Now, there's something you've said that I want a present father for my children. I don't want to raise my child in a one-parent home. So I'm just imagining marry a pilot. I want someone who will be home. I don't want to marry a sailor on the rig for 6 months. So there's some decisions when you see them, you don't even look their way, because if you marry a sailor, I want to marry a club. I'm not trying to undermine that job. Please, I'm being very careful here. I'm just trying to say that based on what you want, because you just said it and you said this is what I don't want to repeat, itself. Now, the fact that you now have a present father does not solve the verb. Being a father is an action word. It's not the presence. It's not the embodiment, and it's not a grown who understands you've had, the kind of pitfalls you want to walk with you towards gaining knowledge of how to avoid in your children. Another thing I always tell people is how to pick their people, their own circle. At this stage in life, I'm sure everyone here is above 18. We need to have 3 cycles of relationship. People in your outer court, people in your inner court, and people in your holies of holies. People in your outer court are, everybody, colleagues, neighbors, acquaintances, church members, people that you just see and network generally with, because for every prayer request, you need a human being. God will use a human being to answer it. So for everybody, you need people around you. You can't just say, oh, everyone is bad because one person has been bad. There's a way to deal with people in the outer courts who have demonstrated the test of loyalty. and has the same values like you have. So even if you have not gotten there, there's a way you can reflect the future you want in your words, in your actions, in your affirmation, in your beliefs. I'm not talking of Christianity now. I'm talking about the general aura you have. So if you want a godly man, if you want a rich man, and I'm being very real here, do you want a man who will just, do you want a they call them high value man, people, someone who will just take care of all your needs? Do you want a professional? So all influence would be in your inner court. Who are you going to spend more time talking to? Which programs are you going to go to? Which network clubs are you going to join? Because now you want to spend more time to know people in this relationship. Now, when you see these people, remember, it's all about packaging. Everybody has this frontier of, I'm okay, I'm confident, I'm this thing. Then that is when you should switch your self-esteem up and place your user's manual at the back of your mind to choose people in your holies of holies. People that are candidates for dating. People that are candidates for a heartfelt, purposive, healthy relationship. And don't, all this I'm talking about is devoid of race, devoid of nationality, devoid of color, devoid of cultural background. Open yourself up. Anyone can meet this requirement, but make sure that you are the one in charge of yourself, of what's happening. You will definitely meet someone that would suit you.
Thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough. Unfortunately, guys, that's all we can take tonight. I said 1 hour. I asked my beautiful, beautiful Aboro for 1 hour. She's giving us almost 2 hours now, so I don't want to take that for granted. I want to appreciate you. A lot of people will be asking for your contacts. If it's for that, what's it called? The life manual, owner's manual.
User's manual.
User's manual. Okay, user's manual. Thought it's owner's corner. You know, in Nigeria, there's a place you sit in the car they call owner's corner.
Oh,
only
owner's
you will sit
corner.
in that place. Another person must not sit there because you are the owner of the vehicle. Thank you so much, Dr. Ade, for coming. I really appreciate you. I mean, if it's for everything you said tonight, you blessed a lot of people, both those who are here tonight and Anita and those who will be catching this later. I really, really appreciate you. Thanks a lot for coming. Of course, I'm going to get your details and share them as much as you want for people. If you're happy for them to contact you, I am happy to do that. Thank you, guys. Give it up for the beautiful, amazing, articulate, knowledgeable, smart woman. Are women doing things or not? Give it up for Dr. Desola. You've spoken serious sense, some things that we have. This is therapy tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Have a good evening, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Heaven will honor you for honoring my invitation. I just called you once, and you responded, and you are here. The Lord will honor you. Heaven will honor you. Heaven will celebrate you. See, that your GP training, you pass it with flying colors. The next time you are coming to this show, you will be a GP with an established practice, and we will give glory to God. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Have a good evening.
And you too.
All right. Bye, sweetie. Bye-bye. Bye. So, guys, this is where we shall draw the curtain tonight. Have you been blessed? Offering time. Blessing time. Offering time. Oh, God. Yeah. Hopefully, we've been able to help Anita tonight. That was the whole point. But I didn't want Dr. Adesola to talk to her in private because I felt like this would be useful for other people. So I begged her to please come and talk on the show. She could have spoken to her one-to-one, but if she did, then how would you have learned everything you've learned tonight? Hopefully, this has blessed you and you've taken something away from it. Please give this a thumbs up. Thank you so much to everyone that's been here supporting. Thank you to everyone that gave super chat. I appreciate you all. I am back tomorrow, right? And tomorrow I've got a lady that is coming to share her story of being imported. She's an imported wife from Nigeria. And as I speak to you now, not to give too much away, her ankle is dislocated, okay, and she is in refuge. What they call, what you call shelter in America, we call it refuge here. So she's in refuge, and she's coming to share her experience of being imported from Nigeria to marry in the UK, why she ended up with a broken ankle and everything tomorrow evening, same time as 7 p.m. We're going to be asking for a lot of support and yeah, for her, because she needs it. And God, as God gives us power, we'll continue to do that on this platform. Thank you so much, Common Sense Sisters. Thank you, Patsy, for the super chat blessing. I thank every single one of you. Mary, thank you all. Jumoke, I appreciate you all. And most especially, my special thanks go to Dr. Adesola for coming tomorrow. Give this video a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, please do so. We are back tomorrow at 7 p.m. with that story. Have a good evening, guys. We in the UK here, it's evening now, it's night, and we're going to bed shortly. I love you guys, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye. Bye, guys. Bye.